Greetings to everyone wherever you are. My name is Bob Cram, Mr. Do-It-Yourself, known as Cook No Vex on YouTube. My real name is Simeon Love. The reason why my name is Simeon, I am the second son of Jacob, and I wanted a surname. So I had to find the surname, and the only name I could add to my name is Love. Because love is the answer. So, improviser, everyone know me, yeah. I'm improviser on Cook No Vex. So let me start. Grenada Unforgotten best. You know when I say unforgotten, meaning that you cannot forget. I know a lot of people forget, and then a lot of people don't know. So this is why I come on this show to tell you what you don't know. You know, Grenada have a talent, that is an inheritance. Carlton Bob Belfon, I used to call that brother Mr. Skills. Now I have a name called him Double Barrel. Double Barrel means you could play two sports 100% actually even and represent your country with their two sports, football and basketball. That was Bob, and he was my favorite sportsman in Grenada, Bob Belfon. Brian Brim St. Louis, Rasta Brian Brim St. Louis. Yeah, man, Brim was like that also. Brim had that talent. He was a short brother. He had no fear in none of the sports. Because I watched Brim play the both sports before I one day play with Brim on one of the sports, which is basketball. So I know Brim very well. Very humble brother to Rasta, you know. So I want to send out a lot of greetings to Bog and Brim, my brother, always humble. Jawais, I know very well. This is a brother I grew with. Well, this is my brother. We grew. First, he went to the University of the Tree in Belmont before he went to North Carolina in the university and transferred to Old Dominion. He was the first man who won a basketball scholarship in Grenada and came back with a diploma. He's still around. So Jawais is a man who I know very well. That's why I say Jawais was the most dominant basketball player in the 80s. Dominant mean he was an all-rounder. He was not only a center, he was a guard, forward, point center, point guard, point everything, forward center, you know. And Jawais was one of the top shooters too. You know how I know that? Because we used to play pickup game, and that was the time he had his time to shoot the ball anytime he wanted. And that's why we used to do that. That is why, you know, some people become top shooters, because it's what no one else play one-on-one together as me and Jawais. No one else. So I know this brother. You know what I mean? Jawais. Douglas Boboy Hood. Well, what will I say about Boboy? Boboy responsible for a lot of things. I should even do a video separate about Boboy, you know, because the thing that he contributes to the sport of basketball and football and still doing it, Mr. Skills. I talked to Boboy recently and I was not shocked. The thing that he's still doing, you know, all around, running around, you know, to help the youths with the game of football. Bob was good in two sports, but I think he was more fascinated with football. Football was his number one sport. I know that. Because you know why today he's still doing it, you know? And as I say, he could have played the both sports as good as 100%. Just as I said, like Brim and Carlton Buck Belfon, you know? Now let me come to Gordon Police Redhead. This brother, the first time I see basketball, that was the first man I saw. He had a mind for the game. When I was younger, if I never played under no coach and anything all the time, but this brother here, I was never going to say no if wanted to coach me, because he had a mind for the game and he was a very skillful player. You understand? And he was not a big player, a big person. So that was say it doesn't matter about the size. If them men they get an opportunity to play any sport anywhere in the world, could make an impact. Bilal McIntyre, that youth, I don't know him. When I say I don't know him, but I talked to Bilal, I remember one time. But I heard that he was the best player in Grenada. And not only the best player, because being the best player is one, but dominant. He was a very dominant player, I heard. I heard it, and I believe it. And the reason why I mention him here, because McIntyre retired. I know that. If these brothers had opportunity, as I said before, it's just the opportunity. Joseph Cummins, this brother here, I made a video separately about him before. Cricket, this guy was just I don't know how to describe him. And he won a football scholarship. Imagine that. So he's in the double barrel conversation. Because if Joseph Cummins, they remain in Grenada, enough love to Junior Murray. I know this brother, but Joseph Cummins was going to be the first man to make the West Indies team, even in the time of the best West Indies team. I'm telling you, this brother just had a talent, a passion for the game. Marva McIntyre, I only mentioned in both tennis, or table tennis. Now I know Ray Roberts, I know Fry James, I know Charlie, Victor Palmer, I know Connie Mez, I know the Wendell and Wayne, I know all the tennis players in my time. But I only mentioned Marva because you know why? She was the name in Grenada. Not only in Grenada, in the Windward Island. Few people could have beat Marva McIntyre. So that's why I mentioned she. I know it are a lot of footballers there in Grenada. I mean, goalkeeper. But the recognized name, that's why I put Paul Roberts here. Paul Ben Roberts, the nickname the Cat. You remember that team with August Uta and them? Okay. Donald Pierre. This is the man I really want to come to. When you talk about athletics, Kirani, must hear about him. Don't never see him. But he's from Guelph. This man was a good road race runner. I never see a man run without breaking a sweat. Pierre was just dominant. And not only in Grenada. You understand? So Donald Pierre was very, 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 very good. And if he had an opportunity to go world class in them time, yeah. Under good coaching and thing, yeah. He would have been on top of the list. I see some, as Kirani said when he started, he was not so good. Friends and enemies to beat him. Fly James, ball dog, play everything. But I given him lawn tennis because I know him good at that game. He could have played tennis, he could have played cricket, basketball. But if he had an opportunity, he would have been a top coach. It's just late. It's just opportunity. Plus, sometimes in the world of full of jealousy and thing, you could get into a position and don't get what you want. Ray Roberts, I leave for last. Ray Roberts, yeah man. He always say putting the people first, turn politician. Ray was it. I love for Ray Roberts for a reason why. Because Ray was a guy who speak his mind and speak the truth. He was a broadcaster, a writer, a sports journalist, you know what I mean? He was that. And he was a person who was not only one sport, had a lot of love for a lot of sport. And of course his love is tennis, both tennis. Because I think and I believe and I know, if I don't want to, Ray was a national player. I think Ray represents Grenada. So think about that, rat-a-tat. So Ray Roberts, my brother, this is man I should make a separate video about. Now, I'm coming to something very special, You see my list is my list, right? Here's another double barrel. Jolly Stephen. Jolly, both sports. Talented Tigger, same thing. Basketball pussy, Bobo, Flyers, Elgin, Bessie, Jericho, Bogman, Peck. These are people I admire before I even know the game of basketball. So all these brothers say, if you want to put them on your list, I will not disagree. Tricks, Kaibo, Schoon, and Bragan. That's my brothers from Grenville. We all started around the same time, These was brothers, man. When we play, we'll take at each other's neck. When the game is done, enough love with each other. This was why I say the better times, That's why I have to do this video. Hess and Ray and from Victoria, my brothers again. They were the two guys who hold on the fort. We have met up. We meet each other, play with each other, challenge each other, travel to the place where each other come from, and play the game of basketball. Ishak, my brother who came kind of a little late, very top player, tall guy. I know he played for Grenada a lot even when I gone. I heard that. I knew that. And that's when I see my brother, my real brother. When I go there in Guelph, I used to live with Aisha. You understand? In Aisha's house. So when I say brother, I mean brother. I want to come with some other mentions here in football. Pai from Springs. Pai from Springs used to be the best halfway for Grenada. Earl Smith was one of the most talented football players in Springs. Cafe Bull, household name in Springs. Bullahead, everybody know. Bullahead was one of the best players in Grenada. A football player, striker. Kennedy Lacquette, rest in peace, my brother. He could have been a double barrel, cricket and football for Grenada. First man I see playing football with his shoes, like the African style. Right, Kenton Fry, my brother, sorry man, rest in peace, just not long ago passed away. Trevor Twist, I must mention in sport. He was a cricketer, but he had a lot of love for all of the sport. He could have been a sport journalist 100% for sure, Trevor Twist. You know, rest in peace, my brother, you know. Got a redhead, again I mentioned in this brother, he was a cricketer, he had a lot of love for the game, but he could also be a sport journalist. Mikey Mottler, I call him the unseen crab. Nobody know who Michael. He's from Belmont, right? And Groger at a red head. Never understand why this man never played football for Grenada. But this brother here could also play cricket, but football. Otto Redhead from Belmont by Islander Gap was one of the most fantastic. The first time I see a man score a corner, and not once, score a corner. Think about what I just telling all you there. So everybody who in them times know who Goucher was. Netball? Wow. Netball. Evergreens, Jets. Before we even play the game, we used to go and watch these girls. Even when they win that tournament, we was not playing no netball, no basketball. But when they win it, we go by Booster. Rest in peace, Mr. Booster. That is a real Grenadian. Booster, Bajan ton Grenadian. Loving man. He was the sponsor. We go up and drink champagne and wine and eat chicken snack. You know, although we yeah, man. And I tell you, I don't know, my Aunt Patsy Bernadette, who I recently talked to Tita, and Louis is 100% still alive. So I hope them other sisters there is still alive. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I want to say, rest in peace, Nordica. Enough love to Glenna, rest in peace. And enough love to my sister, Charmaine, who is alive. And, you know, Heather. Is that sister Heather? Yeah, Heather McIntyre. Yeah. Now, basketball in Grandad's. As I told you before, I remember Tom. I used to love to go in Tom and Melville Street to watch basketball for two reasons. I'd love to see the game, and it was a line. A line meaning, you know, a hangout. And then we go to see the best, you know. But one thing I used to pay attention, and that's what I tell you, that's how I come to know who are the players there. And I told you I was a very, Police and Bob Belfon. Bob Belfon was my favorite basketball player. And I tell all you straight, this is the man I learned the game through by watching. And if you ask me, do you want to play with Bob or do you want to play against Bob? Make a choice. What will I say? I want to play with Bob. Excuse me. You know why I want to play with Bob? Because I was a shooting guard. And of course, if you're a shooting guard, you want to play with the best point guard, right? Okay? So that was say Bob was humble, unselfish in football and basketball. That's why I say not only that he was my favorite sportsman in Grenada, he was the best. Now you might have a different best, as I said before. Don't disagree with no man's best. You know what I mean? So that was just my thing. And football. I tell you something, right? I have a friend, right? In Guelph, they call CJ. You know, short CJ that used to play for Guelph. This brother there, man. This is a friend of mine. And that's a man who I can never forget also, CJ. CJ and Sack, I leave them two men for a reason why. Them two men had a same playing style. And just 1 week ago, someone told me Sack passed away. My brother, rest in peace. I had a lot of love for Sack too, you know. Sack was a very good brother and a good football player. So my brother, rest in peace, you know. Now I want to make a last mention here, you know. Now, a lot of love to my brothers and in grandants, you know, Crokey, Dexter Maya, Dexter Restaurants Maya, Dancing, Kill Him, and Paul McIntyre. I have to stress on the brother. Paul was a very important part in Grandance. I understand coach the Grenada basketball team too. I was very happy to hear that, and I have nothing to say bad about that. Who wanted to say he was Pat Riley, Yeah, man, dress up in your suit and tie, man. Show them, you the Dan, you know what I mean? So I heard that, because Paul contributed a lot too, Paul was a younger guy, right, in one way, but Paul contributed a lot. He was always a outspoken brother, and he do a lot for Grenada basketball in the time. Pat Henry, as a supporter of the Sporting Grenadians, rest in peace, my sister Deanne Joseph, who was always there. My sister was a great supporter. Them three of them, Deanne, Pat, my sister, Jerry Miller, who had a passion for the game as a young guy, always ready to go down to Grandams with us, That's Jerry Miller. Bam P, rest in peace, that youth who died. He was a Kobe Bryant fan. That youth, if you listen, that dude just happens to die. Like, I'm mentioning them for a reason, because I know who they were. Devon in Grand Dance. That little boy there, he was like always asking questions about the game of basketball, always waiting for us to come on the court, to watch the game of basketball. Charlene in Belmont, that's Glenna daughter, rest in peace, as I said before, my sister Glenna. Charlene become a top, bodybuilder, in Grenada. Not surprised, because she again had a lot of interest in sport. So I never, surprised with what she did. Denise McIntyre, Philip, hey yo, how will you feel? She was like the most dominant supporter, individual person who comes down there and make noise from the start to the end, support our team, the Carrier Box. So Dennis, there's nothing like Dennis Philip. Dennis Philip. And Johnson Sportswear, they were a garment factory that do so much, so many things for sports in Grenada, rest in peace, Miss Johnson. She was our neighbor, and to all the kids, enough love and respect, who's still around, right? Tony Renwick, Richie Donald from the Kyle factory, who always sponsor us. Rest in rest in peace, Tony Renwick. And Tony Henry, if it wasn't you, there was no basketball in Grand Dance. So my brother, wherever you are, we will never forget you. Okay? As I said, food and sports is best friends. The quality of food brings the quality of your condition. You understand? Because today people cook, they play a lot of sport, but not the way we used to play the game. Every day, 5 times a day, 3 times a day, the sun hot, outside dark, no light. We used to play the game. So I'm making a food, eh? No, I'm making a food for two people, me and my friend, right? And I will make that food pure ital. And I'm cooking a rice that, you see, I'll put a little oil, olive oil, a little salt, and white rice, Japanese style. You see when Japanese cook it, you know what I mean? No peas, no nothing, you know what I mean? And then cook it in a certain way, and then strain it off. Yes, I. Now, I cooking this food. I want to eat it, me and my friend, because I tell you, I have my friend here. So when I eat that food, me and my friend, who's my friend? I don't know who's my friend, but you know who you might. If you're here, you will see my friend. Now, sweet, and you see this food there. Everything in that food there, just maybe the peas and something. I grow it myself in Sweden. I grow it. No flesh is the best. So I like to keep my scene clean. That is always my dream. So before I eat, I like to clean up like my grandmother. Alexandrina Mitchell the best. You know what I mean? She was not a chef, she was a cook, but she was not a cook. So I will put back my pot there. I have a favorite pot, the Hitler pot, you know what I mean? And then 2 spoons. I get ready because the kitchen clean already. 2 plates, that's always great. And avocado. I love this thing. I get a joke one time. I went up in Monjalu one time, me and Levi, and we went by short packs. My brother, enough love and respect. If you're still alive, I hope you're still alive. And I eat plenty of avocado. We were not in the garden. Boy, I know what happened to me. I started feeling sick, I started feeling sick. Then I said, what go on that? Pack say, but you eat too much. The nutrients, not the nutrients, boy, you know what I mean? You overeat. I laugh. I never forget that, But I still love my avocado. And I'm a very good buyer of avocado. I just buy it for my, my ladies, because they know what to buy. They can't buy it. They always buy bad when you break up and mash up. I specialize in that, in buying them. Now watch this, What's very important about this food I make in there? That food I make in there is going to last me for 3 days. Today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. No sorrow, the day after tomorrow. Keep your eyes right there. Keep your eyes. Don't move. I'm going to eat that food, me and my friend, which you will not see. We eating the food. Because what is important, after I eat this food, you're going to see what I'm talking about. That's the next day. That's the same food in a white plate. That's great. That's the same food the day after, in a black plate. That's great. So you see what I'm saying? So we used to operate when we used to play sport. We cook, we eat a nice portion, we relax ourselves, digest it, and then go and play. And then we come back, energy again. So you lick off another portion. My dear people, the star of the show is the people who I select. Bob, Brim, Wise, Dougie, who is Bob White Police, Bilal McIntyre, Joseph Cummins, Marva that's the list. So my dear people, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I say, that was the better time. The better time. And for me, I know there's good times still. That's why I kind of hardly watch certain sport because of the time. My dear people, I love all of you. Grenada Icon.